So the debate just ended, and Donald Trump had a frenzy of lies. The debate was an absolute crap show. Donald Trump had numerous lies. He lied so much that I haven't seen that many lies since, well, the last time he had a debate. But let's go ahead and get right into it, because we can't cover every single lie that Donald Trump tells, because if we did, we would be here all night, because Donald Trump lies so much that if you went to a McDonald's and got a Big Mac, he would tell you that it is a Whopper. Donald Trump was hit by Kamala Harris on numerous issues, including abortion, where Kamala Harris pointed out that many women have suffered due to the fact that when Donald Trump put in those 3 Supreme Court justices, when they overturned Roe v. Wade, many women suffered. You had women bleeding in cars. You had women bleeding in bathtubs. You had a woman that gave birth to a fetus missing a skull. Just absolutely horrible stuff. Donald Trump continued to lie about immigration. He did get really triggered when Kamala Harris talked about crowd sizes. That is a real stinger for Donald Trump, because he ties his self-worth into how popular he is in terms of crowd sizes. And now that Biden is no longer there, we see Kamala Harris bringing out major crowds to her events. Her and Tim Walz. Donald Trump can't stand it. So it is a major thorn in his ass. And Donald Trump talks about dogs. We'll get into that later. Donald Trump did have a good soundbite about the shh, I'm speaking bit, but he also talked about how he didn't regret January 6th. He still denies losing to Joe Biden in 2020. He called his previous statements admitting that he lost sarcasm. He got rolled by Kamala on Ukraine because Donald Trump loves strong men, including Putin. He mentioned how respected Viktor Orban is. And this is a man who talked about race, how he is against race mixing. And while also being a guy who went to a Republican event and got a round of applause. So this is the type of person that Donald Trump loves to be around. A person that he loves to emulate, because Donald Trump is an authoritarian. He talked about how Russia could do whatever the hell they want to do with NATO. So just multiple lies. And of course, he told the Abdul story once again about why did you send me a pic to my house, Mr. President, or whatever, right? So all of those lies still, but let's go ahead and get into a few specifics. Donald Trump lied on the economy. He talked about his 2017 tax cuts. Now, his 2017 tax cuts gave an overwhelming majority of the benefits to the people who are already rich. Let's go ahead and just get into one here. So here we have the tax plans written out here. So households with incomes in the top 1% will receive an average tax cut of more than $60,000 in 2025, compared to an average tax cut of less than $500 for households in the bottom 60%, according to the Tax Policy Center, TPC. As a share of after-tax income, the tax cuts at the top for both households in the top 1% and the top 5% are more than triple the total value of the tax cuts received for people with incomes in the bottom 60%. Now, in terms of how much it cost, because Republicans always claim they care about that, the Congressional Budget Office, the CBO, estimated in 2018 that the 2017 law would cost $1.9 trillion over 10 years. So it is a lot of money, and most of those benefits are going to people who are in the higher income bracket. So it's not helping the poor people that need it. It is helping It is helping people that really don't need it. But let's go to another lie. Now, this is a pretty funny lie here, because Donald Trump is going on about dogs, about how dogs are somehow being eaten by immigrants. So here was one right here. So it is absolutely bat crap crazy. Let's take a look at it.
The people that came in, they're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country. And it's a shame.
Yeah. So Donald Trump claiming that immigrants are eating dogs. Now, I guess this is Haitian immigrants. So Haitian immigrants were apparently eating dogs. Now, Ohio officials came out and said, of course, this is a lie. Vance promoted this lie, of course, as well. It is an absolute lie, complete nonsense. But Donald Trump is going to repeat it over and over and over again. He repeated it at the debate tonight. He will probably repeat it at his rallies. Doesn't matter how many times he gets fact checked. He doesn't care. And MAGA, his MAGA cult, don't care either. But let's go ahead into another lie. Now, this is a lie that's been perpetuated by Donald Trump for a while now. There is this idea that Donald Trump talks about how Democrats are doing abortions at 9 months, where they take the baby out of the womb, they take the baby out in the hospital, and they just, execute it right on the spot. Hasta pronto. They just execute it. So here's a clip from Kenny Webster here. Here's the clip that they just want you to see without any context behind it. And I guess this is actually originally from the Trump War Room, I should say. So let's go ahead and play this 20-second clip.
If a mother is in labor, I can tell you exactly what would happen. The infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired. And then a discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mother. So
yeah. So that clip right there is played way out of context. So let me go ahead and play what happens right before that, because here is the actual context of that clip.
There are, when we talk about third trimester abortions, these are done with the consent of obviously the mother, with the consent of the physicians, more than one physician, by the way. And it's done in cases where there may be severe deformities, there may be a fetus that's non-viable. So in this particular example, if a mother is in labor, I can tell you exactly what would happen. The infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired. And then a discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mother. So
doesn't sound as scary, because he is clearly talking about a non-viable infant, an infant that will soon to die due to major deformities or life-threatening diseases or whatever, where the baby infant will not survive. So that is what he is clearly talking about, and they know they are lying when they say it. Now, let's go ahead to talk about Donald Trump's plan, or lack of a plan, because Republicans for the last however many years have been wanting to gut Obamacare, chip at it bit by bit and tear it apart. But the problem is they don't have a plan. And when they talk about health care, here is what you get.
Yes or no, you still do not have a plan.
I have concepts of a plan.
Concepts of a plan.
Right now. But if we come up with something, I would only change it if we come up with something that's better and less expensive. And there are concepts and options we have to do that.
So there you have it. They don't have a plan. And it's been, 8 years now? Donald Trump didn't have a plan when he was in office. Of course, Donald Trump isn't thinking about health care in his day-to-day life, because Donald Trump and Republicans never had a health care plan to begin with. They only want to gut Obamacare and then return to whatever sick, no pun intended, sick kind of system we had before, where you could get turned down because you had diabetes in the past or whatever precondition that you had. Now, I also do want to be fair and show you this clip from Kamala Harris. Well, this isn't a clip from Kamala Harris, but it is the notion of the 2017 situation where they talked about Donald Trump calling white supremacists very fine people, because there is this notion that Donald Trump didn't actually say that. Now, there is some context to that, and I want to play that here while we are already doing some fact checks.
People in that group, but you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group, excuse me, I saw the same pictures as you did. You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down of, to them, a very, very important statue and the renaming of a park from Robert E. Lee to another name. And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists.
So let's go ahead and talk about this too, because there is this post right here from Snopes that somebody posted about Snopes where it said, no, Trump did not call neo-Nazis and white supremacists very fine people. Now, the issue with that is that you can go over to the article here where it expands more, where there is an editor's note that reads, some readers have raised the objection that this fact check appears to assume that Trump was correct in stating that there were very fine people on both sides of the Charlottesville incident. That is not the case. This fact check aimed to confirm what Trump actually said, not whether what he said was true or false. For the record, virtually every source that covered the Unite the Right debacle concluded that it was conceived of, led by, and attended by white supremacists, and that therefore Trump's characterization was wrong. So, big picture, did Donald Trump say that there were very fine people in regards to neo-Nazis? He did turn around and then condemned them. But then he talked about how there were other people there at the rally. That rally was specifically made for people who are neo-Nazis, white supremacists. And if you ever find yourself marching along with neo-Nazis, white supremacists, members of the KKK, I wouldn't call you a very fine person. And also, it is very telling that Republicans keep having to deal with this in debates because their audience, the people that watch their content, the people that are in their atmosphere, have neo-Nazi sympathies. They have KKK sympathies. They have white supremacist viewpoints. They have white supremacist sympathies. So it is pretty interesting that they keep having to defend this point. So overall, when we're looking at this debate, it was an absolute crap fest because Donald Trump lied multiple times. But most people, I assume, if you're watching this, you probably already knew that. If you're still watching, you already knew that Donald Trump was lying. And now we will have to see what he is. We will have to see what happens in the polls here. But Donald Trump was in the spin room telling multiple lies. I'll spare you from that. But he talked about how he was doing very good in the post-debate polls. No idea where he got the poll numbers from. He said that he was winning by 90%. Who knows where he got those poll numbers from? So we will have to wait and see when the real polls come out where Donald Trump is in relation to Kamala Harris.